All right, everybody, welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley. We've got a fun event tonight. We are going to be tasting some products from Barton's. Now we know it as Barton 1792, but back in the day, it was just Barton's. And we're going to go through the history and tell you a couple other names that it went through too. There was a lot of changes made in this distillery through the years. It's been around a long time. We will also be tasting all three of these. It is blind, which you could see as you went through that. I won't reveal this till the end, but I will be revealing what A, B, and C is. Right now, you don't know that. There's just three options that it could be. It could be the 1960s. The big one here is the 1960s blended whiskey. That's the show stopper, the one that I really want to try. Then you've got the 86 proof Barton bourbon. And then you have a blended whiskey that they do today. It was a late find for me. I didn't even realize that Barton did a blended whiskey today. It's not anything that's available where I live in Missouri, but I was in Kentucky. I was shopping and I was like, whoa, what is that? Oh, well, we're doing this event. I thought, that'd be good too. So we have three different options here. We'll taste them blind. We will ultimately rank them, and then we'll see how we do, what our favorite is. And then we'll also have a little bit of fun too. We'll do a second ranking where we try to guess what is what. And again, I'm not part of this. I say we, but I know what everything is. So I'll be tasting along with you. I haven't cheated. I haven't tried this stuff before. I don't think I've tried any of these products, actually. I don't think I've ever tried 86 proof Barton, by the way. I've tried the 90 proof and I've tried the bottled and bond or the 100 proof, but not the 86. So this will be new for me as well. And of course, I've never had anything back as old as the 60s from Barton. And this blended whiskey was brand new to me when I put this together. So I hadn't tried that either. Before we get to the tasting portion, though, I want to tell you just a little bit of the history of the company. It goes back to 1879. A guy by the name of Ben Mattingly started the company. If you are really into bourbon, you know that there are some Mattingleys today still in the bourbon industry, which is kind of cool, having nothing to do with this brand or anything like that. But that happens when things fall out of the family, that type of thing. But Ben actually only did it not terribly long. He did it just for like 2 years. He ran the company, and then one of his employees who worked with another one there was two people. One was, I guess, on the finance side, but his name, I don't know, wasn't in any of the articles that I read, but Tom Moore was the name that we recognize. He, in 1881, he bought out what was called, at that time, it was called Morton Springs Distillery. And that was named after the spring that was there. So he called it that. And they started doing pretty good, but I don't know, for some reason, Tom Moore decided he wanted another challenge. Maybe he wasn't getting along with that partner that he had. He decided to leave. So he bought a nearby competitor and he really kicked butt with that. He was doing really well. Matter of fact, he did so well, he had the money then to not only keep that distillery going, that second one that he had splintered off and bought, he also was able to buy back the Morton Springs distillery. And when he bought it back the second time, then his second turn at ownership, he then turned it into the Tom Moore distillery. So that became the name of the distillery. And things went pretty well there. They went all the way through Prohibition. So he was the owner all the way through Prohibition. And even as they came out of Prohibition, he was still the owner. His son was kind of the person leading it, but they got the stills back up and running. But once they kind of did that and started producing brands and that type of thing, that they decided to sell out. And they ended up selling it to a guy named Oscar Getz. If you know a lot about whiskey and bourbon history, Oscar Getz is a pretty well-known name. He was a liquor distributor in Chicago, and he was also a big time collector and that type of thing. And he wanted a brand, and he bought out the Tom Moore distillery after Prohibition and renamed it Barton. So, but he liked the name Barton Bourbon. It has nothing to do, there's no family history or anything. He just thought that was a good name. He liked the way it sounded, Barton Bourbon. So Kentucky Barton Bourbon. So that's why he named it that. Or maybe he was friends with Tim Barton's family here. We don't know. That's a little bit in the history, but so yeah. And he had it for a while. One of the things that he did that was kind of cool was he turned it an attraction to bring people there into a museum. So he had this museum at the front that people would come and look at all this whiskey history stuff and things like that. And that became a big thing at the Barton Distillery. And when he passed away, his wife ended up giving that stuff to the city of Bardstown, which is now the Oscar Getz Museum, which is a free museum you can go to. Has a lot of great whiskey history and memorabilia items. It's very cool and something definitely worth checking out.
So how long ago did he pass away, Steve?
He passed away in, let's see, he died in 1983 is when he died. So that then the distillery changed hands in 1983. Constellation ended up buying them with his passing. So Constellation, which they weren't Constellation at that time. That's the when they became a conglomerate, they changed it to Constellation. Before that, they were called Canandaigua Wine Company. Canandaigua, I think is how you would say that. So, but they ultimately became Constellation. They held it until 2009, and then they elected to sell it. They sold it to Sazerac, who owns it today. So Sazerac also owns Buffalo Trace. That's their two big whiskey brands. One of the interesting things that I saw too, that is kind of a cool part of Barton history, is the fact that they were integral in getting the Bourbon Trail going. So they were part of that. They were on the things to get that going. But then when they sold out in 2009, Sazerac owned them, and there became a rift between Sazerac and the Kentucky Distillers Association, which owns the Bourbon Trail. Name at least, and the marketing efforts of that. They ended up having a falling out, and both Barton and Buffalo Trace left the Bourbon Trail. They're not part of that anymore, and they just did things on their own. So they thought they could do things on their own. And I don't know the real reason for that. Is what I've always heard, and it makes sense. The story that I hear makes absolute sense. Is, you know, Beam has a bunch of different distilleries, or Heaven Hill. They have the Elijah Craig distillery, and they've got everything has its own distillery name, Old Fitzgerald, and they pay a single fee to get into the KDA. But because Barton Brands is a different name and has its own distillery with grounds and everything else, and Buffalo Trace has its own distillery with grounds and that it would be two. You'd have to pay two admissions to that, not one. One fee, yearly fee, wouldn't cover that. You'd have to pay two. And they didn't like that idea and ultimately left. And I don't know if that's the real reason or not. It makes sense, but I don't know if that's the actual true reason. But I could see why they didn't do that. And it's a weird thing where, you think, gosh, when that was going down in 2010, you figured there's got to be a loser here. There's a winner and a loser out of this. And I think both are just really doing fine. Sazerac Company with Buffalo Trace and Barton, they're doing their own thing and they're doing just fine. And of course, the KDA continues to grow bigger, and the trail grows bigger, and nobody seems to hold it against them. They go to the distilleries on the trail, but then they visit Buffalo Trace, which is probably the most visited distillery, and then Barton is another one that's kind of an interesting one that really whiskey geeks and things like that love. I don't think if you're just taking like friends from out of town and just want to show them what the distillery's like, I don't think they'd like Barton, because it's really old school. It looks like it's bandaged together. It's very old, and it's dusty and dirty, and you go into there's spider webs and stuff all over. It's just, but people who are really into whiskey really love that one because everything's so polished and clean, and a lot of the distilleries are new. You go to Whiskey Row and everything's new and beautiful inside those buildings, those old historic buildings. But with Barton, it looks like if you would show up there in 1940, it probably looked pretty much the same as it does today. So, people like my buddy Adam Stump, he claims that's his favorite distillery tour. He goes on Barton every time. And of course, when you're talking about Sazerac, one thing that they do with their tours, they give them away for free. So, you can go to Sazerac, and they have a nice behind the scenes tour and that type of thing that is longer, which involves golf carts and all that. And again, once again, it's free. You do have to, register for that. So you got to know in advance when you're going, but you can sign up for that. And it's really a great tour. That's very comprehensive, and you get to see a lot more of it. I think the other thing that people think about when they think about Barton today, probably the big accident that they had in 2018. So on June 22nd, they had half of a warehouse collapse. About 9,000 barrels, hit the ground on that, and it was still, the other half was still standing, and thank God no one got hurt. I mean, that's the bottom line. The whiskey you can replace, the people you can't. So, but then they had to start the process of cleaning that up and then trying to stabilize the other half of the building, and ultimately that did not happen. Just a few weeks later, on July 4th. The other half collapsed. So you're talking about 18,000 barrels, getting knocked down out of the racks and all that. Again, once again, no one was hurt, which is unbelievable that you had two events like that and no one got hurt. It's almost unbelievable, but really great news. But they were able to salvage most of it. About 2/3 of the barrels, didn't break it when they fell, or were slightly leaking where they could fix them and that type of thing. So they ultimately came out of it not too terribly bad. But still, you're talking about 18,000 barrels. That's 6,000 barrels lost. And of course, they got into some trouble too, because some of that whiskey from those broken barrels went down into a lake there and killed some fish. They said about 1,000 fish died or something like that. And they got a big fine for that. They had provisions in place to stop that, but it got past it. So they have like a basement where it's supposed to, if that collapses or falls, it's supposed to fall, all fall in there. But some of it went out and then just rolled down the hill. And then, my understanding is the fish were happy before they died, but they did die. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of Barton today. I mean, they make some great stuff. I would say Barton they're not a superstar. They're not flashy, but they are good, solid things. I mean, they don't have that super high-end thing that you chase around or anything like that. But their sweet wheat is kind of coveted, or the full proof that they've got, the 1792 full proof. They've got some things that people are interested in, just nothing like that. They also are a big-time producer. I mean, my understanding is they have, a big excess stock. I know that they're using a lot of that now. They partnered with Rick's favorite place, Costco. So they're going to be doing their house brand. I don't know if it's reflective of that yet, but you're talking about some good old stuff that, a lot of companies were buying that 14-year-old stuff. You hear about Blue Run Spirits buying that, or Cream of Kentucky. That stuff's all gone now. Costco's got all that stuff. So they're going to have some good stuff coming out. That private, I don't know when that hits, but when that's bottled and out on the market, and again, Barton was known as the supplier, that's going to be some pretty good private label stuff that they've got there for sure. Worth checking out. I mean, they're good people there. I like going there. Their bourbon ball cream is something that's really popular too. It's worth tasting if you're into that kind of thing. And yeah, it's a cool place to go, and I would encourage you to do so. All right, so we've got 3 whiskeys today. Just as a reminder, we've got the 1960s, which is a blended whiskey. We've got an 86 proof bourbon, and we have a current 2020 version of their blended whiskey that they have today. The 60s blend is 86 proof. The bourbon is 86 proof, and the blend of today is 80 proof. That's all you get to know about it. So we're going to start with A. And how we do this is we go through twice. So we'll go through one time, sharing nosing notes and tasting notes, trying to get as detailed as possible. And then from there, we'll do B, and then C, and then we'll come back and we'll do it one more time. Because sometimes it's good to check back and see how the air impacts it. Once we do that process, go through 2 times. And then the next plan will be to go through and have you guys, we'll rank them, and I'll give you just a little bit of time where you can go back. So you don't want to drink all of your samples. You want to save some because you want to go back and do side by side, and then determine which is your first, second, and third favorite. And then finally, how we'll end this thing is going through and taking a guess as to what's what. See if you see who gets it right, or how many people get it right. We should have some. There's only 3 options. I would assume some people get it right. So with that, let's start with A, and let's talk on the nose. What are you guys getting on the nose as you smell this one?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, yes.
Brown sugar.
Brown sugar, yes.
A little cinnamon smell.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, I get the cinnamon too.
Ethanol.
Cinnamon. Ethanol.
Banana. Fruit.
I'm thinking this is the young
Banana or
one right here.
fruit, yeah.
Smells like teen spirit. That's what it smells like.
Teen spirit. Yeah. It's to me, I get a lot of vanilla and even kind of a vanilla cola scent on the nose there.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But all right, let's give it a taste and see what we think here. Here we go.
Vanilla Coke all day.
Yeah, it's like vanilla Coke. It's
Yeah, it does.
drinking a vanilla Coke. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting out of it. What else? Mr. Majors, what are you getting there?
Vanilla, little cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
little not much of a burn, but it's I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
All right, the Robinsons. What are you thinking of A here? What are your thoughts?
Definitely get the vanilla Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to decide if it's an 86.
Already doing some detective work. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Of course, we do have two 86s. So we got the
Yeah.
86 bourbon and the 86 blend. So that'll be good. Rob, how
And
about you, man?
What's the proof of the other one?
80. The other one, the other blend is 80, which is the modern day one, is 80 proof.
Okay.
So, Rob, what are your thoughts?
I'm getting vanilla like everybody else, but a little bit of burnt sugar.
Okay.
Not necessarily caramel, but burnt.
Mm-hmm. Burnt to that perfect spot or burnt too much?
Not that perfect spot. It's not creme brulee, but it's like it's
Mhm.
getting there, but just not
Okay.
not enough fire.
Yeah. When you there is a perfect spot where burnt sugar is just perfection, but yeah, you can mess that up too. That's why I mean I like playing with the torch, but cooking with it, I'm not too good. All right, Mr. Brenner, what are your thoughts on A?
I get a lot of, like everybody else, I get a lot of vanilla
Mm-hmm.
and it's real sweet.
Mm-hmm. It is sweet. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Vanilla is one too that can disappear quite easily. So as we go back the second time, it'll be interesting to see if the vanilla holds up. It'll be TBD right now. Justine, what are your thoughts here on A?
It's good. I definitely get the vanilla
Mhm.
on the taste. Not so much on the nose, but on the taste, I get it.
Okay.
I think it's got good heat too. I think this is one of the 86s.
Yeah, it does have a nice little finish to it. It's warm, sticks with you a little bit too. Not anything that really lights up the mouth, but it's just kind of that warm glow. It's there for sure. Ryan, how about you, man?
To me, it's definitely on the sweeter and on like
Mhm.
the younger, lighter side.
Mhm.
If you were to hold me to it, I'm almost gonna go. My first guess, without even tasting B or C, would be that this is actually the 80 proof
Okay.
2020 American blend.
Okay.
I'll modify and adjust that as we kind of go along the process.
You're not locked in. You do get the chance to change that when you try the other one. So you're fine.
Well, I'm picking up what Ryan's putting down. Smells
Okay.
like Teen Spirit.
Okay. All right. You think it's young and you think it could be the 2020 blend. All right. All right. Aaron and Regina, how about you two? What are you guys thinking as you taste this first one here?
I just tasted vanilla. On the nose, I picked up banana, and I think Aaron did too.
Okay. Yeah, he said that. Yeah, I think when you stepped away real briefly, did say banana. So yeah, interesting. Okay. All right, just a couple more here. Got to talk to Mr. Whitlatch.
Like the finish,
Mm-hmm.
nice lingering finish.
Yep. Any taste or notes you're getting out of there?
Well, vanilla, obviously. The cinnamon on the nose really isn't there in the taste. I was kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yep. Mr. Barton, how about you?
Sorry, I had to take another sip. Let's see. Wasn't smelling the vanilla as much as the cinnamon up front, but the taste, I definitely hit me with the vanilla. I still get a little bit of cinnamon in there, but it does linger and just a little bit of a pepper on the backside
Okay.
as the heat goes down. Tastes good. It's got a good finish.
All right. All right. We're off to a decent start here, but let's move over to B now. So pour that if you haven't done so already. We're going to be talking about B and what we're getting here. Should be interesting. All right. What are we getting on the nose on this one?
I get banana,
Banana. Yeah.
like artificial banana, like
Yeah, I'm getting
like
banana
run-
too.
Runts
Runts?
candy or
Yeah.
yeah, Runts candy or like the Laffy Taffy artificial banana.
Artificial
Mhm.
banana. Okay.
Sweet smell.
I think there's like a little caramel roll type of thing going on there
Mm.
too.
Yeah, I get the caramel.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely don't get the cinnamon
Nope.
from A. That was pretty forefront. I'm not really getting that on B.
Okay.
I get a little chocolate and banana.
Chocolate. Okay. Chocolate and banana. Okay. That sounds promising.
Juicy fruit gum.
All right, let's give this one a taste and we'll go through everybody again and ask them about what they think. A little kind of pudding taste there, some sort of. It's good.
I'm definitely getting, someone had mentioned that like artificial banana, like runt candy feel. That definitely,
Mhm.
I'm definitely getting that
Yep.
coming across on the, yeah, for sure.
Getting that on the taste
Yeah,
on this
definitely.
one. Mhm. Okay. Rhonda, how about you on the taste on this one? What are your thoughts?
Group, this is some good stuff. I like it. I get the banana though. The artificial banana.
Uh-huh.
You know, like when you get the artificially flavored like banana rum.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I get that on the nose, and then the finish is mint.
Is mint.
I get
Okay. Yeah.
some mint on
That's
the
a good-
finish.
That's a good one to get. By the way, Barton does make, that 99 stuff. So I don't know what all there is to that. I know 99 bananas is a thing. I don't know what I know there's more than one though. It's not just bananas. There's other stuff too, but they make that stuff. They also do, which I haven't tried. I do want to try it now. A Southern Comfort, which used to be good back when I was like in high school. Then it's been terrible for a long time. Now they're making it with real whiskey again. They got away from having whiskey in there. And now it's got whiskey in it again. I'd like to give it another taste, but I haven't tried it yet. But all right, Aaron and Regina, how about you guys? What do you think on the taste on B?
I'm a little bit worried that I mixed up the samples because I got less banana on B than I did on
Mm.
A. But then somebody said juicy fruit at some point. I get that on the palate for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Juicy fruit's a good tasting note. I get that one. Rob, how about you, man?
I got the sort of classic caramel and cherry flavors, sort of a little bit muted, but it's just like
Mhm.
a standard bourbon.
Yeah, it has that
A
kind
little
of
pepper on the end.
Mhm. Yeah, if you took caramel sauce and then liquefied it, even more than it is already, because it's usually pretty solid. You made it real nice. Then it kind of tastes like that to me, is what it tastes like. Mr. Barton, what are your thoughts?
Caramel banana, definitely a sweet flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get the pepper taste on the backside of this one like I did on A.
Okay, fair enough. Ryan, how about you?
I mean, right now, I'm just in terms of like preference, like and just like flavor profile, like I'm definitely leaning towards the A for my own just personal preference on like what I normally that kind of banana profile character. Like the more I drink this, it gets like stronger and stronger. It's almost like now it's getting like cloying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even like finished with like my first little half sample. So
yeah,
it's a dessert bourbon.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Mr. Whitlatch?
To me, this tastes exactly like you would expect it to taste after nosing it, with a little bit of ethanol burn on the backside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Kevin Majors?
Well, I get a little pepper on the end, and like Rhonda said, the mint. I get mint first, then it turns into pepper. I personally think this is one of the blends. because of the fact that it's as sweet as it is. So I wouldn't say that in comparison. He called the first one one of the old ones. I think that two's definitely a blend. And if out of those two right now, I'm going to say one A's the bourbon and two's the blend.
Okay. Okay. We still have one to taste, so we will not, again, just like we said with Ryan, we're not going to lock you in. You can change that
Right.
as we go through the third one. All right. The Robinsons. What are your thoughts here?
I definitely get the caramel and the banana, but the heat hits me mid palate and not so much on the finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of typical of a lower proof.
Okay.
So
everybody's trying to figure this stuff out. Melanie, I like the detective work here. Is there anything you wanted to add to anything Neil just said there? Nope.
Nope, not this time.
Okay. All right. Rick Brenner, the legend.
Well, my first drink of it, it was like I was biting into a stick of juicy fruit.
Yeah.
It faded after a while, but that was the first taste.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good note, actually. I like when we get the juicy fruit bombs. All right, Justine, you're the last one before we go to C. We can start pouring C if you haven't done so, as Justine tells us a little bit about her thoughts on B.
Yeah, I still get the artificial banana. I definitely get the mint, like Rhonda said, and the juicy fruit. This one, I don't think the heat on this one isn't as good as the first one.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's move on to C again. We'll come back and we'll do a much quicker, higher level the second time we go through. Just kind of everyone will taste it. If there's anything they want to add to what we've already found, we'll talk about that. But we will get detailed here on C. Oh, I mean, you thought A and B were bananas. Get ready. I mean, I don't know. To me, this tastes like our nose is like the most bananas out of any of them for me. What about you guys?
More like a butter, I don't know, like a buttery pudding.
Buttery pudding, okay.
I don't.
A banana buttery pudding?
I don't get banana on this one like I did the first two.
Okay. All right.
Maybe on the taste, but not on the nose. I don't get banana on.
All right.
Maybe
Anyone
banana
else?
peel.
Banana peel. Okay. Banana
Yeah, this isn't so much sweet banana. This is kind of, for me, greener banana. So
Yeah.
like he said, the banana peel.
But not the fake
It's a
banana
little-
this time. Yeah, it's
Right.
different banana. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the peel, like a greener banana peel.
Yeah.
Almost got a funk to it. It just
That could be a tip there. I don't know. On the nose, anything else anybody wants to say before we officially give it a taste here? Okay. We will go through everybody as we taste this, so get ready to talk about this, but let's cheers, gang, on our last one here.
Wow.
Okay.
Chocolate or honey or something.
Yeah.
got a little sweet bomb to
Yeah, a
it.
little chocolate or honey or just a little
Yeah,
little something.
it's sweet. Definitely not much on the finish though. There's
Mm-mm.
nothing really there finish wise. But there is kind of a mid palate sweetness. I don't know. Usually it seems like when I taste something, it's always like the sweet is the first thing you get, but this time it kind of hits me mid palate. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I
I
get
definitely
like a-
find.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I see. I definitely find it more balanced than B, where B that banana, it's like very banana forward. This is, I feel like I'm getting a little bit more just complexity generally when it first hits. Yeah, this is nice.
Okay.
C's really nice.
He's good. Okay. Justine, you were going to say something there. What did you want to say?
It kind of reminds me of like a fig Newton.
Fig Newton. I like Fig Newtons. Yeah. Just the regular ones. I don't like all the fancy flavors, grapes and all that. Just give me the regular Fig Newtons. Anything else, Justine, on the taste you want to talk about?
No, just Fig Newton. I kind of get like the green banana peel
Okay.
too, like a little bit like the aftertaste kind of is like that.
Yeah. A little bitter on the aftertaste, I feel. But, yeah. Yeah. Rick, we'll go to you next as we bounce around here. We'll go to you next.
I can see a little bit of bitter on the finish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Got a real nice mouthfeel.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Rob, what are your thoughts here, man?
Really sweet, but it was also sort of bready and let's say a little bit of nut, like walnut. Like it was almost a little bit of like a banana walnut muffin.
Yeah.
You know, they the bitterness can be walnuts are a little bit bitter on the bitter side. So you and I think, even though we're not saying the same thing, I think we're in sync there with what we're conveying.
Yeah, but there's no finish. It just you get it and it it drops off a cliff.
Yeah, I agree. No finish at all to that one. Kevin Majors.
I think you guys nailed it. I get a little chocolate with it too, but it is more balanced out of all of them to me. It's the most balanced. I really like it. Like you said, the walnut, you get a little bitter on the finish, which walnuts are a little bitter. That's kind of great find there, Rob. You're like, nah, walnut. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. That's why I love working as a group with these things. Because I'm like bitter, and he's like walnut. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I was getting there.
Yeah.
But he just conveyed it better than I did. So yeah, that's cool. All right, Robinsons.
Yeah, just kind of the green banana, unripe banana. Yeah, I get the walnut a little bit. I think this seems drier than the other two.
Yeah, it's got a little dryness to it.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Rhonda, what are your thoughts on this one? Number 3.
No, I don't know. It tastes very green, like a Australian Sauvignon Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
It just tastes really grassy, really green. It's not bad. But it's not like making me say, "Oh yeah, no."
You're not going to jump in your car and go out and search for a bottle at this point, huh? So.
As your girl says, I would drink it on a Thursday. I would drink it on a Thursday.
All right. Aaron and Regina, what do you guys think?
I picked up on some honey and then also some like kind of like some iced tea, but unsweet.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan of it, but I don't really know why, but I like tea, but the flavor just wasn't great.
It disappears on me. I'm having a hard time picking out much of anything compared to the other two, and maybe it's my palate's blown out from some earlier stuff, but I'm not picking. It kind of disappears on me.
Yeah, definitely fizzles at the end in terms of finish for sure. Tim Barton, what are your thoughts?
First of all, it's definitely not sweet. It's got a little bit of a bitter backside taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard many people say the honey. I smelled the honey more than I feel like I tasted it, and it doesn't have a strong cinnamon, but boy, there's a little bit of a cinnamon in there as I get that bitter flavor on the backside. But definitely nothing sweet at all. And whoever said it last doesn't stay with you. I agree.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Whitlatch.
After that initial flash of flavor, it completely goes away, falls off the cliff, like Rob said, but it doesn't taste like bourbon to me at all.
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes like sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
With a little bit of sugar. That's
Sweet
it.
tea. Okay. All right. Ryan, I know you weighed in on this a little bit already. Is there anything else you wanted to add as we went through? Because you're up kind of first there. So anything else you wanted to add?
No, other than I mean, I get some similarities between B and C, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I just think like C appears to be B, but like more refined.
Okay.
like some of the same notes I'm getting on B, I'm getting on C as well.
Okay.
But it's kind of weird because like C just disappears really quick on you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of perplexing.
Yeah. Okay. What we're going to do next, again, we're not going to go through that detailed where everybody goes through and shares nosing and tasting notes, that type of thing. But we do want to revisit them one last time. And again, still you want to save a little bit because we will, after when we get done here, we're going to allow you to go back through as you get together your rankings. You may already be doing that in your mind, but I'll give you just a little bit of time to officially come up with your list of 1, 2, and 3. So let's go back to A and let's nose this and see if anything changed or anything like that. You know, it's been at least 20 minutes since we started this, maybe a little bit longer on the.
I do get a little bit of caramel on this one finally.
Little caramel.
I'm getting more of the brown sugar on A this round.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more caramel or brown sugar on this one as it has opened up.
Yeah, it does change a little bit. And again, that's what I said too, that vanilla note, which I thought was pretty strong on this one.
Yeah, the vanilla's not as strong now.
It is still there, which is good, but yeah, it's definitely not as strong as it was. It was kind of a vanilla bomb, but your fake bananas is definitely still there, Justine, as you first one to point out. That's still there.
Yeah.
That
Kev had mentioned
that
this.
was on B.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kev had mentioned this before, but no, this I'm wrong. This is not the 80 proof. Now that I go back, I think.
Well, yeah,
Kev,
you got to go through all three of them. I mean, yeah.
Kev kind of threw me under.
Hey, it's all in good fun.
It's all good because I think Kev is right on that A.
Let's give it one last taste here. Still vanilla Coke, but also some floral notes there. A little bit different, I thought, this time. So it's interesting. Anything else anybody wants to add on taste on A? All right, let's grab B. Nose it and taste that one. Man, that's caramely.
Yeah, I'm getting way more of the caramel on this one.
Now it's like I'm in a caramel factory.
Yeah, for me, the artificial kind of banana's gone away.
Yeah.
It's late with the caramel.
Let's taste this one here for one last time.
For B, for whatever reason, I'm getting almost like a heightened pepper on B on this round. Like almost like extreme pepper. Like I can like feel like it's pretty strong.
It lingers.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, let's go to C. Last chance at this one.
It's even more funky, I think.
It is getting a little funky.
Yeah, it smelled a little funky to begin with. It's more so now.
Yeah.
It has more funk.
Now, sometimes funk can be very good. Sometimes not good. Let's taste this again and see where we're at with the funk on this one. It's definitely walnut finish still. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
You get that bitterness.
Got some oakiness to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. So here's where we're at, folks. I want to give you just a little bit of time here, just a couple of minutes. It's not like we're going to spend 20 minutes here, but just a couple minutes. You just want to rank them. Well, number 1 is your favorite. Number 2 is your second favorite. 3 is your least favorite of the 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you also want to be thinking about what's what. So we're going to go through the first list we'll go through is just ranking them 1, 2, and 3. We'll come back and do that second list after we get done. So you will have a little bit more time to think about the 3. But I'll give you just a couple minutes here to rank those. Not talking and bothering you.
putting banana on this now.
Working. Some looks like they're ready to go. We'll wait just another minute or so, and then we'll get back to the show here.
Steve, were two of these blends?
Yes, two are blends. One's a bourbon. One's a modern blend. One's a 60s era blend, and the bourbon is modern as well. Okay. Does anybody need more time? All right. What I'm going to do next is I work off the same computer I do this event off of. So I've got the spreadsheet. I need to pull that up. So I can't, all that means is I can hear you fine. I can't see you. So if you need to get my attention, you can't wave your hands or just use the chat function. I won't see that, but I am here. You can call out to me. All right. This is the order, reverse order in which you signed up. So it looks like Tim Barton's first on the list. Tim, looking for your list of 1, 2, and 3. 1 again being your favorite, 2 being your second favorite, 3 being your third. So you're answering me A, B, and C. So what your favorite, second favorite, and third. So what is your order, sir?
My order is the same as exactly what we've done it. A, then B, then C.
Okay. All right. All right. Next up is Rob.
B, A, C.
B, A, C. Okay. Next up is Regina. And then Aaron, I've got you separate. So I've got 2 different ones for you 2 here. So Regina, you're first though.
Mine is BAC.
Thank you.
Okay. Aaron, how about you?
I hate to be that couples person, but mine's also BAC.
Oh, so that's good. You 2 are a good match. That's good. All right. Kevin Majors.
I'm also BAC.
B, A, C. All right. Rhonda.
Same, BAC.
B, A, C. Okay. Ryan, you're next.
A, C, B.
A, C, B. All right. The legend, Rick Brenner.
ABC.
A, B, C. Okay. Melanie Robinson.
ABC.
A, B, C. It's getting interesting. Neil Robinson.
One more time. A, B, C.
B, C. Okay. Mr. Whitlatch.
ABC.
A, B, C. Okay. And finally, Justine.
BAC.
B, A, C. Okay. I can tell you, clear cut, third place is cut and dried. Very clear cut here.
Yeah.
C is third place. It's 13 points. Next up, in second place with 29 points is B. B is second place with 29. Very close though. A has 30 points. So is that close? So A is our favorite of the show. I will reveal what is what in just a second. Before we get to that though, I would like to ask you guys to tell me what is what. I'm going to go in the reverse order we just did. That means I will start with Justine. Justine, you tell me what you think is the bourbon, what you think is the 60s, and what you think is the current blend.
60s, I said C.
60s is C, okay.
Bourbon, I did B.
B, okay. That leaves C, and then that leaves the current as A, right? working with my spreadsheet here. Quick timeout. All right. Okay. Justine, let me make sure I got this right. You said the bourbon was B, the 60s was C, and the current is A?
Yes, sorry, I forgot. You couldn't see me.
Okay, sorry. I thought maybe I was, all right, Mr. Whitlatch, you're next. What do you think is the bourbon? What do you think is the 60s? And what do you think is the current blend?
I think A is the bourbon.
All right.
And I think that B is the current blend. And that
Okay.
leaves C is the old stuff.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Neil Robinson, you're next.
Same as Bob.
All right.
A is the bourbon, B is the 2020 blend, and C is the 60s version.
Okay, Melanie Robinson.
The same as that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Rick Brenner, what do you think?
I think A is the bourbon, B is the 60, and C is the current blend.
Okay.
Hmm.
You mixed it up there, Hans. Okay.
Well, you know.
All right, Ryan, you're next up on the list.
All right, I'm going A as the 60s, B as the bourbon, and C as the 80 proof blend.
Okay. Rhonda, you're up next.
Sorry, my notes. Okay, I put A as the current blend, the new stuff. I put B as the bourbon and C as the 60s.
Okay. All right, Kevin Majors, I've got you next.
I'm going with A being the bourbon, B being the blend, and C being the 60s.
Okay. All right. Aaron.
I had A is the bourbon, B is the 60s, and C is the blend.
Okay. All right. Regina.
I have A as the bourbon, B as the current, and C as the 60s.
Okay. All right. Two more we got. We got Rob. You're next.
B is the bourbon, A is the current, and C is the 60s.
Okay. And finally, Tim Barton. The person who should know this. Family history.
A is my choice for bourbon.
Okay.
B is the new stuff, and C is the 60s.
Okay. All right. I can tell you, out of this group, 2 people got it correct.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Two people.
Rick and her husband.
You're right. Rick and Aaron. Rick and Aaron are the ones that got it right. Is A was the bourbon, B was the 1960s, and C is the current blend.
Wow.
So, wow, congratulations to Rick and Aaron.
Huh.
You got it right. That's pretty cool. So now that you know, it's kind of fun to go back and retaste them, and now you know what's what. So A is the bourbon, B is the 60s, and C is the current blend. So, meaning that the bourbon in the closest of margins was the favorite of the group. The 60s blend was just 1 point behind the next closest, and then the current blend was the one that was really far off the mark. That's fun, isn't it? Isn't blind tastings just awesome?
Great.
Yeah, you just never know. You know, it's the great equalizer for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. How many of you, let me look up here. How many of you said B, the 60s was your favorite?
Most of them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Me.
Yeah. So Rob, that was your favorite. Regina, Aaron, Kevin, Rhonda, and Justine. The 60s was your favorite.
Okay, so the fun was because it was young, not because it was old.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're talking about green, it would be not age.
Mhm.
So crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun though. And yeah, that 60s blend, I feel like held up pretty darn well. I mean, you're talking about, blended whiskey is different than regular whiskey. So
Mhm.
the fact that it was that close to being first is pretty good. They did some good blends back in the day. I think C shows us that the blends that they're doing today aren't as good as what they did back in the day.
Well, it's just not old enough. It hasn't aged long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can tell that by the look of it. I mean, that color is hay colored, it's yellow.
It's like,
So, and the B is definitely not real dark, but it's also more orange, and then the bourbon, again, it's a younger bourbon. It's not an older bourbon, but also more in the orange hues.
Dave, did you say that bourbon was 86 proof?
Yeah, they do Barton in all kinds of proofs. They got an 80, they got an 86, they might have a 90, 93, and 100, I think.
Yeah.
If you recall, the 100 was the best under $15 bourbon recently.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the bottom shelf winner.
Extensive blind tasting, yeah.
Yeah. That one's like a secret weapon. If you ever have one of those events with like your bourbon club or something like that, bring that Barton, that 100 proof. That does really well in those. Again, that's just such a tough price point. When someone says $15, finding something that's good under $15 is not an easy thing. So yeah.
I grab one of those every time I see it. That's become my go-to gift for whiskey drinkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of fun showing them, something a little bit different. And yeah.
Steve, are you talking the bonded or are you talking that new crafted stuff?
Well, yeah, they're out of they don't do the bonded anymore. I wish they still had that. We've got one of those for an event coming up. We're going to do a side by side. Kevin, you got to participate in that one. You sound like you have a pretty strong opinion that the bonded is better than the current 100 proof, but we'll put it to the test. We're going to do that thing blind and we're going to see what is actually better. I also want to do the same thing. I want to get another one. I'm looking for David Nicholson because they don't do bonded anymore either. So I'm looking for David Nicholson bonded. Once I find that, because I want to do two things. Let's try two formerly bonded bourbons that are now just 100 proofers, and are they better or worse? And we'll do it blind and see.
Is that 1843? Is that was bonded?
That was bonded, yes. Yeah, the white label is the one I'm talking about. That one, that was a bonded bourbon. There is a place that in St. Louis that has older stuff. What's the name of that place, Rick? In Fairview Heights. They always got old stuff on the shelf. I gotta look at that.
We were the family. We just got back home from St. Louis too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we took a little family vacay, and then we just got back. Yeah, we literally just got back. We got back in today, just so that I could be here.
You should have stopped by. Yeah, you should have said hello. I'd have poured you some bourbon while you're here. So, not a bad thing. No, but
Steve, I'll keep my eye out. In my travels.
Yeah, if you see the David Nicholson, the white label bonded, that's the one I need because I don't have that. I don't know of any other ones that have done that recently or anything that have gone from bonded because I want to put it to a blind tasting because everybody in both of those say that the bonded is better. Okay, is it really? Let's do it blind, and if it comes up that way, then it is. But we'll see.
No, that was one of my dad's favorite bourbons.
David Nicholson, yeah.
43 bonded.
My parents too. They love that stuff. So, but they weren't big drinkers, and it makes sense. It was a weeded bourbon, and you're talking about a time when, when my parents were drinking it, not a whole lot of weeded bourbons out there because you think, well, Maker's Mark wasn't everywhere when my parents were drinking in the late 60s, early 70s. Yeah. I don't know that wasn't St. Louis at that point. They were just a small Kentucky distillery. I'm not sure if they were there. So my parents who didn't really drink, they did like that though, but it's a weeder. It's sweeter. It's a little different. So. But yeah.
I discovered after I got, well into this, I kind of went back and figured out that my dad was a weeder.
Mm-hmm.
David Nicholson and Old Fitz.
Old Fitz, yeah. It's another weeder. Yeah.
Those were the two that was always around the house.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what he liked. All right. Well, what I'll do next, we'll say goodbye to, again, anybody who's watching this later. We'll end the official part of this meeting, and we will be sending this out. You'll see it too. If I send something out, I got to send it to everybody. So I will send out this video. But after I turn this off, we can stick around and talk as long as you like.